Wir legen los in 3, 2, 1, los geht's. Moin und hallo, hier ist eine neue Folge. Podcast ist echt nicht einfach. 103, heute wieder mit einem spannenden Gast. Diesmal bei mir Filip Jacobson. Filip ist Filmemacher und hat sich auch ein bisschen spezialisiert auf die Zirkusszene, macht Filme über Zirkus, hat aber einen ganz spannenden Werdegang, ist Freiberufler und kann uns ganz spannende Dinge erzählen. Zum Beispiel, was ist eigentlich ein guter Trailer für Künstler, für Zirkuskünstler? Das werde ich ihn heute fragen und vieles mehr jetzt im Podcast. Und um euch gleich mit reinzuholen, wird dieser Podcast auf Englisch sein. Das heißt, wir switchen ab jetzt auf Englisch. Ich weiß, ihr könnt alle Englisch, das ist gar kein Problem. Wir hatten schon ja den einen oder anderen englisch sprechenden Gast in dieser Sendung und das hat auch hervorragend geklappt. So, welcome everybody, this time also in English. Here is Podcast ist echt nicht einfach. My name is Dan and I welcome Filip. Hi Filip.
Aber warum in Englisch? Ich spreche Deutsch.
Wir können auch Deutsch sprechen, wenn du willst.
Nein, ich möchte nur sagen, es tut mir leid, aber besser in Englisch.
If you feel more comfortable, as I said, we are international.
I
and we
respect too much Goethe to speak.
To speak German. So, as I told a little bit in the beginning, you are a filmmaker. You come from Poland. You studied there also like Filmwissenschaften in Poland in Lodz, which is spelled how in Polish?
Which
Which?
it is a famous film school, so I get a lot of credits for something I didn't do.
So we greet everyone in Lodz.
Yeah, it's the biggest film school from the, Polański and stuff like
Oh
this.
wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, so we learn a lot today about filmmaking.
And history of Poland, be careful.
Oh, that's nice. I'm really curious about. I just fell in love with Poland lately. The few times I was there, it's just so lovely. The food is good. The people are nice. I really enjoy it, and it's not about the cliche which I had before, which came from I don't know where. Like you are aware of the cliches.
I am aware of both sides cliche, living in Germany and coming from Poland. So
yeah. And afterwards, you also traveled a lot around in Europe. You were in Denmark. You were in Turkey. You traveled as a backpacker, selling spiders, and you went also to Cuba, to the Kunsthochschule, which is an exchange from the Kunsthochschule für Medien, which is also in Cologne related.
yes, so yeah. In Cologne there was after me and my friend 1 year later my friend left and we make so much trouble they canceled the stipendium.
So how you came into the circus world, because you're not originally from there. You're not an artist.
Not at all. I always loved circus from these very stereotypical things. Like, literally, I'm until now fascinated that people dedicate so much time, body work, effort to something so ridiculous in the way, so to make it really crazy things on the stage, you have to practice every day and still you are not recognized. And this kind of approach to art and passion it's kind of linked also to in my life, even though I do films. So it's basically the same, like following the passion and trying to make it very acceptable for a living. So, but to the circus, I come because when I come to Germany, I have nothing to do. My girlfriend that time was studying in KHM. And then I received a general email from Jenny Paczkowski because she was doing workshops. First, Labor Cirque in Cologne. And new circus, filmmaking, anybody who could come and has a camera could join. And then it turns that I stay there.
You were the only one?
I started with my girlfriend, but she said, look, it's too much because it's really intensive. And she had studies, so I just took over in the way and I made a film, kind of short documentary. And I met all these people, kind of half of them I kept contact with them and sometimes they call me, sometimes I call them. So unexpected, wonderful friendships. There was a Tim Barron there, so the director of Zirkus Dance Festival, which was also it's very important for the future biography. And Yeah, so this is how it starts, and now.
Why was this so important that you made the movies for the Circus Dance Festival? For you?
So now so the circus colleagues who need sometimes somebody film the show or make a trailer, but this is really not like, this is kind of gigs, you know. And then it was the beginning of Corona, and just I met a team on the street, and then it was, oh, long time not see, la la la, what are you doing? And then we come with small talk of, hey, in fact, why not to think about this collaboration bigger? So we come out, or maybe he come out with the idea of, okay, what about making circus documentaries, portraits? Because of the Corona, we have money, we cannot show anything, so let's spend them wisely.
Yeah.
This was definitely turning point of my. After this, I started to call myself Zirkus Filmemacher.
Yeah.
Because it gets, through team, I met a lot of amazing people. And we did 7 films until now. And what is important also, that they are traveling. The films are traveling themselves. So I showed these documentaries in many festivals as well, which brings me to another collaboration. So this is really interesting how it grows.
Yeah. Is this something typical for like freelancers in all those different jobs they do? Like, you need to start somewhere, and then with this opportunity comes the next opportunity, and with this opportunity comes the next opportunity. So even, I think just sometimes in myself, even if the first thing I did wasn't that good, but it brought me like to another point, meeting other people, then you get recognition from them, and then you come to the next point.
So when you have so stable life like I have, meaning how to say, I moved in the age of 5 to Germany or something like this. I traveled before, like I left country. So normally when you grow up, all your friends, colleagues, you grow up together, you get the people, and then somehow it comes together. And I was always searching for such a thing, but I did so many things which are not relatable to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally I see, something I do for 10 years, and it has a sense, it brings something, the people stay. I keep kind of level that I'm proud of, because you never know, So from freelancer, dream would be to have 1, 2, 3 partners which you can count on, and they can count on me. So after this 10 years in Germany, I have few partners like this, and they are cultural institutions and circus.
So you lay down in
this is dream. It's not a plan or something. This is, I hope it's not Hochpunkt, but somewhere close to.
Yeah, or you're on the way to it.
I hope to.
Yeah, still on the way to it. I think so, because circus is like it's in one way it's a really small niche, and I think it's always good to have like a specialization in some kind of niche, because you make it just like separatable from other filmmakers. And even if it is such a small niche, there are a lot of people who need like filmmakers, maybe podcasters, or maybe like people who work around this scene. And this, because it's so small, there's a lot of like, did you heard about this guy? I know somebody. So you get really faster in connections with other people who are not like sitting in the same city as you, but all around, not only Germany, but also like Europe, because Europe also like get more and more connected together in the circus scene, which I think is like a really good point. So you weren't a circus fan as a kid?
Well, you ask two very important. You give 2 important points. Yeah. So it's not about specialization and thinking business-wise, because whoever do circus, they know it's a very bad business opportunity. But it's more about passion and freestyle of life. But what I found that it's frustrating. So every time when I have something interesting to do, to gather people, to explain them, to bring this energy together, it's costs so much effort. And I also noticed when I watch friends performing and hiring somebody, it's also frustrating for them, because if a filmmaker is specializing of something else or have a different interest, he will treat this job as a gig. Okay, easy, I come,
I put up
film,
3 cameras.
Technically, it's very good, but there is no engagement. No, and I face this lack of engagements even with my colleagues sometimes. So I see this as I specialize it because to save a lot of time, and also it's not that I figured it out by myself. It's more like, if you tell me some technical things about circus, I will know what you mean. So it's a short example. I got quick call, hey, somebody get ill, there is this punk concert, could you film it? I'm like, hey, of course I can film it, but when is the rehearsal? It's like, what? Why you bother? And I said, no, I go. I met the guys and I asked them, so how would you like to be filmed? And they freak out.
Yeah, because nobody asked that before.
Like, never, ever. So, and I'm like, hey, I can do it on the stative nicely, or would you invite me to enjoy it really? Because I really like the music. And then I get so much energy if I would be a member of the band.
Yeah.
And they were like, after the concert, hey, Filip, we know you maybe 2 days, but we were like looking at you. You were like dancing, flying with the camera. And I hope effect is, so the camera should follow what's happening. And with circus, often it follows the tricks, something most impressive, but not the essence. Mm-hmm. And as much as I work with people and I have this really cool discussion with circus artists, I figured out, okay, we are not doing this. We are new circus. We are not here for tricks.
Yeah, or for these classical
easy claps.
Yeah.
We are here to tell the story. So if you film, don't get attracted by our physical abilities. Just trying to represent what we are trying to get in our stories, in our performance, dramaturgy and stuff. Yeah, this is interesting part.
Feeling inside of it. Yeah. It reminds me that there is a coincidence also with hosting shows. If I'm hosting shows, I always be there for the rehearsals, because only if I see what is coming on, I think I can make like a good job as a host. And if I don't see the rehearsal, I'm just stumbling in, but I'm a part of it. I'm not in this group, as you said, like you don't become a part of the group, you just become like an extra from the outside. And then you can also like do your job only from this perspective, from an extra from the outside. But the more you like go there, watch the rehearsals, talk with the people, get to know what, as you said now, how do you want to be filmed? How do you want to be announced? What do you don't want me to say? What do you don't want me to film? Which part maybe should be only for live visitors and I don't put into my edit, and so on, so on, so on. So the more information you can get and the more engaged you are with the people, I think the better your result will be.
Of course, it's not that I blame everybody who doesn't do it, because it's all about the budget often and stuff. But, if we are already doing it. So this is my principle. Yeah. And mostly I do it because our job it's based on a relationship. So I come from the documentary filmmaking. So this is how I would perceive myself or introduce myself. Like, I'm not filmmaker, I'm documentary filmmaker / circus filmmaker. Also because it gives this spark of what the hell it is.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. Circus as something strange, entertainment, chaos maybe, and not art without a clear definition. Yeah. Because circus, it's
a lot like.
If circus is about object manipulation, then what I'm doing with my camera, if it's not object manipulation.
Exactly.
I'm searching for ideology more for fun, but it's match every time when I think about this.
You did also some trailers, or like if there's a new show put out, people are really like happy to have like it filmed, so that they can like send it to different theaters just to show their work, or they also can like send it to different festivals just like to show their work. So what is there a difference, I would say, between like what is a good circus trailer in one form, like to represent the act, and is there a difference to representing the act for maybe that somebody buys the act?
Yeah, and this is, I think, the biggest struggle because you are kind of in between men, between artist and the audience or producer who wants to buy.
To sell it also, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And funny thing is that everybody has different opinion what it should be. Mm-hmm. So it is, trailers are very tricky because it's very difficult to give up from circus artist perspective or any artist perspective the control. But on the other hand, I have this experience of saying what could work, what doesn't. So if I will follow advices of circus artists in the first place, maybe we could even have a good effect, but then I also want to bring something. So basically, it's every time I watch the show and I try to find something which is interesting. And of course, then we have to discuss and compromise. Most beautiful maybe collaboration with trailers is with Ben Richter.
Yeah, he was here in the podcast.
I know. I don't know if I should relieve this.
I link it up here for sure.
So super experience. I can say very good friend, and only by doing, because his work is very deep and abstract. Yeah. Maybe after third version of the circus, we see it and say, okay, now I understand what it should be all about. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you treat it like a job, it could get frustrating. But because I am, like, it's not our reflection, our discussion brings something. It is valuable. It talks for me. Then on the end, like number 4 and number 5 version of the trailer, it's really good. Like that I wouldn't expect, and he maybe didn't know. You know, because of course, sometimes the show is in the not nice place, or the Bühne, like stage is not nice, and then or you show there is a show in art gallery and you cannot film the
background. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of things that I see as a filmmaker because I see through little screen, and there is a lot of expectation or things which artists don't focus at all.
Yeah.
So it's again, if I wouldn't like the show, or I would hate the show or something, which sometimes happened, I wouldn't be able to do the show. So I am coming from perspective of audience, but I don't say I know how to do it. I need to, usually after first version, all the all the feedback from the artist is very valuable. But this discussion of, okay, so should it be representing your show, should sell the show, or should invite the audience who will
making curious program? I would say, like, it's also
unfortunately it's 3 different things, and following the genre of trailers, it's not necessarily the best solution. It's easier, it will work, but it's how to make your shows. Your show is special. Trust your show. Don't follow the rules, because your show is not following the rules. So why the hell trailer should follow the rules?
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Interesting. The question is, if my work is following my principles, this you have to judge yourself. Because sometimes, like I did trailer for you,
exactly,
and it was 15 minutes, so it's really little a little material, and in trailers you have to follow the moves. So basically I found very simple editing trick, and if you wouldn't like it, this wouldn't work at all, so I don't know, it's just this, let's try out, let's make it,
experimenting.
Let's have fun a bit.
Yeah, and being playful also with it. Yeah. Is there a good time for a trailer? Is there an expanding time where I say, don't make it longer than?
Usually this comes from the feeling of the artist. So 1 minute 20, 1 minute 30. But I really suffer when I have a Circus Festival. In just a few days, amazing artists, amazing material, because I'm just...
And a lot of material also.
A lot of materials, and then it has to be 90 seconds. I sometimes I cry, because I wish people will be able to watch it for 5 minutes because it's worth it. But it's not, obviously. So festival trailer or after movies are tricky because they have mostly commercial reasons.
Yes.
So it has to be so compact. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I will keep this material for myself. And one day, I
make a long documentary.
Really,
about,
I have
why not?
so much discs, not because I need them, because I think it's a documentation also of the moment, Yeah. Now I met some very famous, circus artists who did it for 30, 40 years, and I'm like, if I would have this material when they start, and now what I have now, this will be just beauty.
To have also this whole story from where it started, how it changed.
So this is what I do. I hope
I see the documentary in you.
Half of my colleagues I work with or collaborate now will continue this job, and the body, in circus, body change. So this is interesting. Well,
super interessant. Yeah. Is there something circus can learn from filmmakers? And on the other side, is there something filmmakers can learn from circus people?
So now my arrogant part will come out, because I noticed there is a difference. So very interesting is for me that at the end of the day we sit together and we discuss our artistic dilemmas, our frustration, our search for essential of what we are doing are exactly the same. Like you really can exchange the music, circus, film, the artistic discussion or existential discussion or financing discussion are all the same.
Yeah.
But then, because my job is to tell the story in the time with the beginning, middle, in the end, whatever you do, the principle of storytelling is really, and keep it in the frame is essential. I noticed that in circus performances, it's not working the same. Maybe because of the education, maybe because of experience. Also how we approach the things. So my approach is some idea or some feeling, emotions I want to represent, or a story I want to represent, and then I search for artists or way to translate my ideas into the film and the frame or film images. But often when I talk with circus artists, they said, no, our show comes from quality of the movement, of trick, you know what I mean? Or my body ability. And this I love. So I would love to film something, and based on this one scene, I would make whole film out of this. This would be, but just we don't think like this. So I often see that circus artists could learn dramaturgy from the filmmakers, because when you take outside eyes, there will be always people from your field, which is very valuable, because they know your craft, they read it different. But then I sometimes, when I hear this abstract discussion. I get crazy because I'm normal person who is kind of audience, imaginary audience. I don't understand. And I saw sometimes really good impressive shows which fail, in my opinion, because there was nobody who said, cut this out, concentrate, follow this. From circus artistic perspective, they were very deep and developed. But from dramaturgy, they fail because somebody forgot.
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, and the end. And for what the filmmaker can learn from circus artists, this should be obligatory exchange process, because filmmakers, if I can just really generalize it, I often see that we are very brainy and we are like stopping ourselves, and a lot of stage art is based on energy, being in the moment, being spontaneous, and this is what I love to introduce in my work.
Making decisions just straight ahead and say,
and
okay,
believing
in the decision.
I think maybe believing, not searching for history. This is what, because I have a Kulturwissenschaft background, it was really paralyzing me that I knew so much history of the movie and I could analyze every shot from Kubrick, which is valuable. But then it's like, hey, forget about this and just go for it. There is only one way of doing this film, and you do it right.
It's your way.
And that's why, I choose documentary, because it's not about the preparation, it's just about trusting your relation with your character.
Mm-hmm.
So I teach occasionally, and my students ask me, okay, what's the trick to come to the people? And I'm like, look, there's no trick. If you like him, just go for it. If you don't like him, also go for it. Mm-hmm. Like, you cannot make a very good film if you don't like your protagonist.
Yeah.
If you are curious, maybe not like, because this is, if you're not curious. Mm. And I'm really curious about people who do circus art.
Yeah, and what people are doing and how they're thinking and how they like present themselves. You know that for sure there's this difference between like this Neuer Zirkus to the classical traditional circus. And as a perspective, also as a filmmaker, I have the feeling that in the classical circus, it's a lot about like this creating some sensation of the fear. This could go wrong. The fear that, maybe somebody's going to hurt just in front of me on a live situation. And the dramatically is really like, I start here and go up to the big trick, and then it drops, and that's the end. As in compared to New Circus, Neuer Zirkus, where they just like try also a little bit more like to have this ups and downs, more like modern series are maybe also made. So you have like a cliffhanger, and then it goes back to the next scene, next scene. Is this also a different approach than to capture something like that?
I think what I talk all the time now, it's New Circus, of course. Mm-hmm. So classical circus is some kind of very interesting point of reference for me, but I'm focusing on New Circus because this is new, this is something which I connect. And classical circus, yes. So I'm learning about classical circus from the artists. I had this amazing discussion with Julian Vogel, that the responsibility of creating or de-escalating danger on the stage, it's not only about the artist, it's also about the audience. So the artist shouldn't risk, not for himself to not get injured, but also not to put the audience into this traumatic situation. Mm-hmm. And this was like, wow, I literally would never think about this.
Yeah, because nobody wants to see somebody get hurt in front of them. Nobody wants to see like the failure, but you can play with it.
Yes,
on a certain level.
But this, so
to create some tension, maybe.
It's
just like different.
Dramaturgy is building tension.
It's building tension.
I like that circus artists I collaborate with until now, they were quite intelligent about this. So when we skip this first layer of tension trick, will it happen? Will he manage? And then if we don't use this kind of pattern or this banal dramaturgy, what else we can do? So clown who is not funny, jongler who is not trying to impress, but just the quality of his movement, his ideas are more important than showing off. This is much more interesting.
Yeah.
And I hope with my editing also. And sometimes I even go too far because I'm thinking, okay, me, myself, I watched thousands of movies and million trailers, but my audience or artists I work with, they didn't. Yeah. So they are not advanced. It's like they are not bored yet of the classical way of cutting. Maybe, I'm not sure if I...
Yeah, you have like another background, as you saw so much, that you have like, you can look through more perspectives on the same subject.
I am much more radical in the filmmaking than I'm able to bring on the table. And sometimes, and I'm talking about just with
exclamation
mark career, that finally I come to the moment that circus artists are open. Like, you know, with this trailer, it's not that I will get
boosted in
200 shows.
Yeah.
But I need it. So I need 20, 50 shows. Yeah. So the stake is not so big. So there is no pressure. So let's also have fun, because
so there's more space also, like to be playful.
To experiment. And I hope the people, well, another thing, so programmers, sometimes, so they are doing this for many years. They are really specialized. They watch thousands of shows, and still they are like sometimes not able to watch the whole show from one perspective, one angle.
Yeah.
I understand it's boring, but this is your job.
Yeah.
So why the hell? So sometimes I edit the whole show just to entertain the people who's supposed to be professional
in watching a total,
or that they can understand that this what is boring on the flat screen on the laptop on the stage is super cool and
different. Yeah.
And this, I am surprised sometimes that we have to use the film tricks or film language to say something which is supposed to be obvious, because we are not random audience.
Yeah.
They are professional, they are specialists. So why we have to make it cooler than it is?
Yes, but I would say if you just like watch like a total, even if you're a professional programmer who's used to it and who should transfer the video through a live scene and back, you don't get this close feeling of the people on stage. So it can help if in the editing I come just closer to the person sometimes, or I see like these details. And yeah, these are like film tricks, you know. Like I can just watch the guy from far away doing maybe a handstand. But in filmmaking, I can also like do a small coming from down up, and I start with the hands, and I go to more like details to bring just a little bit this feeling closer, and it gives you also like the person a little bit closer. Afterwards, you have more the feeling I know this person better if I see it a little bit in closer or in like details, as if I am only far away. And I think also that because movies and series are so big and we are so used to watch this kind of editing, this kind of different frames, different angles, that this even professional programmers take this inside their jobs.
Yeah, that is underconscious maybe. So exactly. So in one way, yes, this is exactly what I do, and this is my job. So I'm also saying to circus artists who are always on the budget, obviously, and say, hey, it is worth to invest, not borrowing from a neighbor some camcorder just to call me and I bring 2 free cameras and we try to do it right.
Yeah.
because the effect it's much better. I'm just saying sometimes that in one way it's not allowed because it has to be a general shot, totale.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have to use the film language just to kind of make it nicer or edit better.
Yeah. Often you can also do two things at the same show, so you can do like a total, but still having some close-ups. And with the close-ups, you make like a trailer, and the total is like just for.
I think the close-ups, it's totally the thing. Yeah. I think maybe because this is maybe the bigger difference. The editing on the stage, you do editing by yourself with your eyes, and in film, I have to do it for you. And especially when somebody's so physical, it's also people hesitate. You know, it's like no, show me my full body, because this is I work weeks on this.
Years.
And I'm like no, look, this little hand gesture represent this what you try to say in this scene more than the whole. This will work on the stage. Another point. Remember, I don't know, imaginary person that my job or our job as a filmmakers is always to bring people to the live show. So, and I really love this, that it's not about me. My job is to invite other people. I don't want to take over.
You are more like a vehicle.
I'm serving. I'm a translator.
Dienstleister. Translator. That's good. More like a translator.
This is maybe what is missing or differentiate my kind of approach from this art video dance films, which are made just for the video. Yeah. You know, you put hula hop artist into middle of the forest and make it cool. It's like, it is a cool video.
Have a drone shot around.
Drone shots obligatory. And I'm like, okay, yes, but I'm unfortunately not a gadget person. Yeah. So it is impressive, it is amazing, but this is separate genre of art.
Exactly.
I'm more interested of what's behind.
And what's happened on stage.
What's happened on stage, what's in the mind of the artists, why you are doing this. Arte make this kind of, a few years back, this crazy series of short shows. Well, they are not portraits, they're clips, but they are very impressive. And they are made it in a special way just for the camera. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I want to stay in the live situation.
Yeah, that's your documentary background which comes through. Yeah.
And not impose my ideas on the artist. Yeah.
I want to say something more, as you said, like in your example, the artist says, no, show my whole body because I trained so much for it and it's all one unity. And you say, it's more interesting like to have this hand gesture because it translates to the rest. There is like this superpower in filmmaking is that if I choose only to show a small part of the whole picture, I give the spectator the opportunity to imagine the rest by himself. So much is like also just like be created in our heads as we are like the viewers, the public. If we see like only this small part here, small part there, and the rest in between, our brain or fantasy is doing. And so I open and I invite everyone to be also in their own minds and their own fantasy, as if I have a total where it's just only like it's like this. Yeah. There's no way to.
But you do the same on the stage because you start with the black stage, spotlight appears.
Yeah, exactly.
You enter the stage slowly. You build it by yourself as well, or other people.
Yeah.
So to achieve, you go from detail to the general or from general to the details, but the way is always like
from big to small, or
small to big. This is very, very simple. Yeah. All the cool things is everything in between what you do with it. There are rules, you know. Yeah. But then you play with this how you want.
Yeah, they still work. As technology changed now really rapidly, isn't that also changing like life for filmmakers? Because now like everybody has like a good mobile phone cameras. Even a lot of people have like drones. They are no filmmakers, but they have a drone and they can like program it and it's just turning around. nearly everybody can just pull up a total camera who's just filming the whole scene. Does that also change like how people engage with filmmakers, or like I can do it by my own? And also like with the social media need also pushed, it exists. So people are like, I don't need like one trailer. I need 10 seconds every day in the best way.
So I don't want to say, oh, it's a problem. It's not a problem at all. It's true, everybody does it, and everybody should does it, because I'm also profiting from this technology boost.
Yes.
But I'm coming to this moment of, you know what, I'm quite satisfied what I know and where I am. And I follow my curiosity, not, oh my God, you have to buy a new camera because there is a better one. It's like,
like
show me what you want to
360.
do. Show me what you can do with your newest model of the camera. Not so. Show me what you do, not with what you do.
Yeah.
But of course, talking about this, about your work, it's much easier because people, when I start many years ago as a young guy who dreamed to be on the movie set, I worked on a 35 millimeter film, and my job was, because we were like poor filmmakers, so we got scratches from different movies. So we had like 102 meters of film, 400 like ISO, then 3 minutes from another tape, totally not matching. And my job was to calculate how much meters, to put the film on the camera, you need 4 meters. Or I don't remember anymore. This calculates. So I calculate the scene, and then I choose which film we use to manage to shoot it.
Yeah.
So very romantic as a memory, pain in the ass.
Yes.
Now, like that.
At that time?
That time. So now everything is great and easier. But I had this, once I did a job in Gamescom, and I entered with my little camera, like really small, and then there were these kids with drone and with the gimbals and with this, and I'm like, oh my God, like, how can I like, sorry to say, but I'm like, okay, I have a film school, but who cares? These kids knows better. But then, and it happened, it's not that I'm so full of myself, but I try to watch many of these movies, and I'm like, okay, even though
what is the result?
It's really still kind of reportage, quick editing, showing small interviews. Mine is watchable, and other than are for me annoying, because the kids or other filmmakers are fascinated by effects. Once I had the job, so guy said, "Hey, last year we did this. Can you do this year?" And I watched this film, and like, oh my God! And I called him and said, "Look, I like to do this, but I cannot. This film, it's amazing. All these tricks, blah, blah, blah." And the client said, "But did you watch it to the end?" And I'm like, no, it was too much. Exactly. That's why we want you, because even though this is really impressive, I make nobody watch it to the end. Yeah. Because you are overwhelmed by
the pacing, by the editing, by the special effects.
So in the beginning, everybody looks for, unsharp background, these cool things. Now you have all this 8 millimeter imitation, but if it's just for the effect, it's good for Instagram for 12 seconds.
Exactly.
But if you watch TikTok for 1 hour and you have 50 of them use the same music and the same effect, then I'm like, okay, so I am satisfied that I do my stuff, and I think people should do it, because it's a language that it's an education, and maybe they do the job I don't want to do, and I can do the more advanced jobs. Yeah. I hope this is it.
Yeah, or the one where, as you said, like the people who give you the job want you because of your approach to it and your style to it. And also often, I think, even for me as a host, it happens often that maybe I'm not the best circus host in the world, But as I work with those people and they like me because I am who I am and I treat them well and I treat the artists well and I do my best that everybody has a good time, that's why they book me again. Maybe they would find somebody who is technically better, who has better jokes, who's cheaper, whatever. But it's also a lot about who you are in person, how interested you are in their craft, and how you also can work as a team also. Like and to, as you told me, I talk to the artists, I try to understand what they want. So to also show like interest, to being curious all the time. I think this makes a great part in every freelance jobs you do.
But this is true, but this is some way I also struggle because I'm thinking, oh, so when I'm nice guy, this is job or this is this is just me?
A favor.
So will I be nice and really kind of engage if I don't believe, or should I just be myself? And of course, the nicest reward is when people come back to you. I think this is the nicest because
that's
it
like
means I want more from this relationship.
Yeah.
But it is struggling that you have to hang out, you have to be around, and I'm not, I'm grumpy person, so
can't imagine.
it is difficult sometimes to say, you know what, I don't want to be nice today. But somehow I don't know about the people. It's not that everybody who I do documentary about are super happy after,
Yeah.
or they call me and we eat dinners together. But I hope it's just based on the relationship. So, but I really try to be myself more than thinking, they buy me, not my work,
Yeah.
Because this goes into a bit of prostitution, which again circus or artist world is more free with it, because with the big businesses of making film about some company, this would be definitely the case that you have to come with nice suit and just shake the hands and kiss some manager. I'm CEO and I'm like literally.
Do you really want that?
It's not worth it.
Is it worth it? And then also often in these settings, there is a lot more work in between, because those people think because they put a lot of money in it, they owe you.
They want, so for example,
they always want changes.
Yeah, not because they have any sense, because
it's just
paid,
yes.
I'm a manager, so I'm paid for making and I show it to my wife, and my wife thinks this and that. Yeah. And I don't want to say that they are not nice people or anything. It's just not me.
Sometimes also people think they need to criticize, because if they don't criticize, there's no reason to be there.
Exactly.
So maybe the company has put some guy there who just watches you over the shoulder all the time, which also makes you nervous on working. But then if everything is fine, he will find something to criticize, because if not, he's unnecessarily there.
Exactly.
So he needs to make a reason why he's in there.
Look, I was working on a commercial. I was working in a TV series, not as a creative person, but in the movie sets. I work in the photo shootings where, we've tried to get models very cheap, but there is a caveat on the catering because the client could visit us. It's embarrassing.
Yo.
It is embarrassing. And people play this game, and this is like they blow this balloon to make it more expensive. But I'm like, so with the artists, the problem almost doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Or not almost, doesn't exist at all, because we don't have to prove anything, and we can put an ego in our pockets.
Yeah. If you are filming live performances, there is also things you need to think about, where do I stand, because you can't be in front of the audience. So you need also to find perspectives which work. And I can imagine that every act is different, because all the circus skills are different. So if you have aerials, a lot happens in the air, so it's maybe different and more easy, like to don't be in the way of the audience view. But sometimes also there are small things who happens really small. And how do you approach like to portray circus artists in a live situation to like also make them not uncomfortable, because sometimes there's the cameraman and then you think about the cameraman.
Of course.
So how you be a good ninja, you know?
Yeah. So again, look, I present myself as this really conscious person who control everything. Obviously, it's halfway through. Like it's it's in the middle. So very important. So this, for example, you cannot imagine how often I am approached. Filip, all the often photographers in the live shows and cameramen thinks everything is just for them. So they almost enter the stage to make a nicer shot. And I'm like, I was audience when some arrogant photographer or filmmaker was on the show, and they just cover me and they interrupt and make click, click, click.
Yes.
So obviously, I always think that I should disappear. And the key is more cameras, definitely, always. And just this knows, like, sometimes, not that I watch the show, but I see, okay, this person do this, so I more or less imagine what he's able to do. So my camera moves before the person, which is a mistake because, but I can sometimes wait for the moment.
Yeah.
And it gives so much satisfaction because it means you read this person, you are surprised. It's not that this person is doing obvious things. It's that, no, I get
I felt it already.
I get your style.
Yeah, yeah.
So most important is to say, hey guys, yes, spend a bit of more money on the camera, more camera angles. This will fix all the mistakes I do in between.
How do you achieve if you work with multiple cameras, how do you achieve like a flawless color grading on different cameras? Because every camera has like his own look. Do you take care that you just like have the same cameras or same, or just you film in RAW and afterwards you can change it?
Now when this exists, that in the budget cameras you can have a RAW, definitely I do it. Yeah. So F-Lock, so no colors at all. But of course, like now with experience, okay, Sony camera every time will be too reddish. Yeah. This is the set, so like this, and this is not important. But if you do it, and you are annoyed that it is, or Panasonic always too greenish, and I'm like, I would never pay attention on these details. But if you do it and you have to mix these cameras, then it is annoying.
Yeah.
I have cameras from the same company.
So that this doesn't happen.
Yeah. But also, I did once documentary on very spontaneous amateur, and it became kind of big film, like on the festivals, prizes and stuff. And then the film was black and white, and it was like 100% every Q&A. I was asked the question, why? And I make a big announcement, because it's about playing with past and present. It helps you to focus on the details, all this, why beautiful aesthetic black and white movies are made. The truth is, I shot it in 3 different cameras,
everything
2 different moments, 2 different weathers.
Different lighting.
Light, and I just make it black and white, and it fixed my problem because I was not crafted enough to make it good color correction. Yeah. It was 15 years ago, so I'm not.
But a good
10
trick.
years ago. But you know what I mean. So I'm always building this beautiful story of artistic choices, and then by the way, there is also another reason. It's black and white because I'm a creepy filmmaker,
It's black and white because I choose it to be black and white.
No, this is but
you can sell it like this.
This is artistic. This is KHM discussion, Yeah. If you and this I struggle. If you cannot justify your reason why you make something, don't expect the audience will get it.
Mm-hmm. Because there is no explaining.
Yeah, like saying because I felt like it could be good but it sounds, or you didn't think too much, or it's bullshit, you know. Even though it works, you know, maybe it works, but I'm always for this kind of thinking about the audience. It's not about you. I don't do films for me. I do it, like I said, to translate certain life situation into the screen. So my aim is people get the feeling I got it by spending time with this artist, for example.
As you film like live performances, there's only one chance to film it, maybe, because it's only on this evening.
Yeah, and especially with circus shows.
Circus shows, and in this light, in this
month,
setting.
You know? Yeah, and it is very keeping you modest, because you make mistakes. Oh, you know, when I watch Beyonce live concert, which I don't, but you know, it is amazing, flying cameras,
everything.
This is scripted. You know, Martin Scorsese made the film only concert of Rolling Stones. Yep. It is great. Would I like to do it? No. I did it once in the, you know, you have a little microphone and you operate the camera, and then you have this. Again, it's technically amazing. It's a bit less fun. Yeah. So So we take into consideration that, you know, that it's imperfect, but this is the point.
Even as every live show has always this glimpse of imperfectness.
And this is something which you, as a circus artist, accepted and knows. Yeah. So the difference, maybe our job is, I do film. Half a year later, maybe 1 year later, I put it on the white screen, if I'm lucky, and that's all, you know? And a reaction of people, there will be people who laugh, people who enjoy, people who hate it, no? But they don't
There's
have
a lot of time expand.
And there is no direct feedback.
Yeah.
So if you are performing and you make something which doesn't resonate, you will immediately feel it, even nobody say it. And I am totally so it's me, film, and the audience. It's three different elements of the puzzles. Yeah. When you have a live performance, there are two puzzles. Because even though they don't like your show, they don't like you doing this show. And I'm envy a bit this part, because this energy has to be crazy interesting. But, I'm very safe like this. Yeah. So I can really get any critic after I finish the movie, because it's done.
Yeah, and because also there's a time expanded. You are already someone different.
And you can next show say, oh, I listened this advice. So I work with some art. We did with Maria Baranowskaite and Mark Lieberman film for polystyrene, because they are developing part of Sphere project. The work with polystyrene itself. And we did the film, and I did the film, we were all satisfied, and every maybe 2 months we have a screening. Sometimes even during the festival, they want some adjustments. So we edit 1 hour before the screening.
Wow.
And I'm always screaming at them, like, you are crazy. Of course, we love each other, so... But it took me a while to understand, they perceive it, it's not a film, it's a performance on the screen. Mm-hmm. So you have to adapt, and there is a quality of it, and it brings, like, I see the point that the process is extent, that you can react, this person told me this and this, let's cut this part. And I'm like, no. So this is super fascinated, and this doesn't exist in my world. So I'm very curious how it...
That's really interesting point also, like critique, like how much critique you just hear and you can like work with it, but you don't change your product because you still believe in your product, even if you heard the critique. Sometimes it depends also who gives the critique. Sometimes there's a critique who say, that's a good one because I never thought of it. So somebody brings a new perspective. So in my next project, maybe I adapt to this critique because it was really like worth it. And then sometimes you have like critiques where you just like hear like, okay, you have no clue.
Yeah.
So that's also okay. And the older you get, I think the more comfortable you are with, as you also said, what are your skills, what you can do, and how your style is. and say, yeah, I understand your critique. Maybe in your eyes, it's also right, this critique, but it won't change my work at all, and it won't change the result at all, because...
Totally like this. Of course, you present it as a craft of self-confidence, but it can be also being ignorant, you know. So I think insecurity is very characteristic for everyone, and and you have outside eyes, and you ask friends to watch your show, la la la. We also do it, but in the moment, if somebody criticizes something I'm not sure, of course I will go deeper and try to figure it out. But usually, because I have tremendous time to, you know, my 20 movie film, I will edit for half a year or something, you know. There is no mistake there. There is just a decision.
Yeah.
Because you have time and you are alone and you ask, so it's not random. So when somebody said, oh, I don't like it, or this is mistake, I'm like, okay, this is a valuable opinion, but it's done. Of course, but you know, it's your baby, so you don't show it too early. La, la, la,
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
Once I did the film, I show it to 50 people in individual screenings. Only 2 people like it. Can you imagine?
Ooh.
This is deep.
Wow,
this is difficult to cope.
Oh yeah.
Because like it just doesn't work, and there are some maybe objectives, and you cannot change. Because film is shot, so or you start from scratch, so there are situations like this.
Yeah. Our time already expanded, but
geez.
last I wanted to ask you is, like, if there's out there somebody's listening to us, and they are like young filmmakers who just like think about to do exactly what you did, like to shoot live performances, to go like in a niche. Doesn't need to be circus, could be any live situation, theater, live concerts, music, comedy, whatever. Is there something you could recommend them, like to say, like, if I would start once again, I would just like take more care on this things, or
Just
do you have like an advice?
Definitely not. Because I have no idea what I'm doing often, and also if you look for somebody who tell you what to do, then you have to figure it out. If I tell you minimum 3 cameras and take care of white balance, take care of white balance, take care of that, to check the highest and lowest point of the light, because once I was invited for show, I put my cameras, but the artist forgot that half of the show is in darkness. Like this, literally, this was this moment of, hey, can I go to rehearsal?
Yes.
No, I have no time. And I'm like, I get frustrated because somebody pay me for nothing. I was just enjoying the show. I couldn't film it.
No, how that? Yeah.
And I feel guilty because I wanted to do my job.
Yeah. Like to being aware of the circumstances, and the stuff can change, and not the first.
And I think that what is advantage of being there with the camera.
Yeah.
Because filming, just capturing, you know, in German you have Dokumentation and Dokumentar.
Yeah.
And I'm always fighting, what are we doing? Dokumentation is just putting 3 cameras and filming. I wish that people give me enough trust to do Dokumentar.
Yes.
Meaning deeper.
Yeah.
Bit deeper.
Taking own
give
decisions.
Me more time, give me more engagement to do something together, not...
Yeah.
I just capture how good you are on the stage.
Yes. So don't be a part of it. But
that's why it's not that because there are these fancy companies which are just invest in 5 cameras, and they can do it with mobile phones, and they film it probably much better than me. So if you call me, maybe let's figure out what's the advantage of us together, not technical aspect.
if you want to see your work, where can we see something? Is there a website where you collect it? How do you have like a channel?
My films, my Circus films are on Vimeo.
Yeah.
Filip Jacobson, you will find it.
Write it down here.
Or on the website of Circus Dance Festival. There are these cool documentaries. And there is my kind of author's film. The films are available on docaliens.com. So this is this kind of VOD platform. just for documentaries.
Cool.
There are film.com, which is cool because it's super cheap and they're quality films. So maybe by entering there you will find better or more interesting film or whatever.
Yeah.
But then there are these films, which is a problem with when you make an artistic film, then that the audience is very limited to film festivals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So subscribe, click, follow me, and lol.
Yeah, exactly. As Philip says, the same is for the podcast for sure. And at this point, thank you for everybody who supports the podcast on Patreon or here on YouTube. That's it for today. Thank you very much, Filip Jacobson, who is here filmmaking.
If you come up to this moment, I'm really proud of you.
Yeah. If you watched until the end and you're not fell asleep, we are all really proud of you. And maybe you are also like an artist or you are like a live performer and maybe you need somebody who is good in capturing and documenting your performance. Don't hesitate. Also the email and contacts you will find under the video or also in the podcast notes from Philip.
Arbeit, Verb, Job, Verb.
Genau, immer Werbung.
Ja, gut.
Ist doch gut, oder? Davon leben wir Freiberufler.
Yeah.
That's what we're living for.
Relationship, peace and love.
Yes, and what we just said also last week, please go voting, please go to the demonstration against the right and the AfD. In diesem Sinne, vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen, fürs Zuhören. Das soll es gewesen sein. Folge 103 vom Podcast ist echt nicht einfach. Wir sehen uns, hören uns, wenn ihr wollt, in 2 Wochen wieder. Bis dahin, kommt gut durch die Zeit. Tschüss. Und bis zum nächsten Mal.